XYZ, you know me. You know what time it is.
Yo, hold up. How does... Okay. Still on the hunt for that crow heirloom. Let's see what we got.
Oh, Father, give me sight!
You only need a couple or a few friends in your life to be happy. Yeah, no, that's a statement I don't agree with at all, but I've been hearing a lot of it, especially post-COVID, this cope that you only need a couple people in your life to be happy. You can get by doing that, but what happens when your friends might have to move away? What happens when dad gets a new job in California and they got to pack up? What if he gets a scholarship at a college that he can't refuse now? What if they get a job after college that sends them to the Big Apple, big city? This girl in my math class in undergrad said something that'll stick with me forever. She goes, I'm already satisfied with the friend group that I made back at home. I didn't come here to make new friends. I came here for an education. Like, yeah, you and the rest of us, princess. What are you talking about, bro? I don't know how you can be so close-minded like that. Well, then, ironically enough, we became good friends that year. There's these things that'll happen in your life that you can't really control, but you can control how you respond to them. And these things happen to everyone, too. Yeah, it sucks losing a friend. Everyone's lost friends. I'm not saying that you will lose these friends, but what I am saying is that it'll cut into the time spent. You won't be able to see them as much and make as many memories, so why not try to grow the friend group maybe while they're gone? They come back and all of a sudden you've got more homies to bring. You've got more people to hang out with, more memories to make, more laughs to share. And I feel like making friends like their childhood friends can be done still as adults, as teenagers. I get it. I don't know exactly how COVID affected the school system, at least like in a personal sense. I've witnessed it in my little cousins, and they can't go to their classrooms as much, and things are getting back to normal, but it's done permanent damage, and I'm totally aware of that. I feel so bad for all these kids, man. It sucks. It just plain sucks. But that doesn't mean that building connections with people still has to be difficult. It used to feel super easy as a kid, but you could also get rejected as a kid too, really quick. I'm not projecting here. I'm not saying this happened to me, but a certain person that went to the park with light up Velcro shoes, and I wanted to race a couple of them because, that's the most important thing when you're a kid. I had the Lamborghinis on. They were jealous, man. They didn't want the smoke. That's how I took it. But, they might have been a couple years older than me and just didn't want to play. Fine. I don't want you anyway. Kick rocks, kid. Because little homie over here asked me to play with his yo-yo. So, now who's jealous, right? This sort of thing can happen today. I get it. People are just more polite and they might be cold to you afterwards. That's just the reality of growing up. People are polite on the surface and they don't want to hurt your feelings, but then they don't realize that it's a slow burn. This buddy of mine that I grew up with, and we're still super close today. I see him all the time. Well, actually not, because I'm in Utah and he's in Michigan. I'm always with him every time I go home. Haven't lost touch, but we used to fade all the time over discourses on floor hockey, mini stick hockey, right? Pool, you name it, we were arguing over it and fighting. Gloves were coming off, but then immediately after, it was all good. Yeah, man, let's shotgun a Sunny D, jump on the trampoline, and go play Halo. Simple. These things were solved very quickly. I'm not saying that you can go up to someone random, ask them to be your buddy, and then when they take your Hot Wheels, uppercut them. You can't do that. You might catch a charge nowadays. The older you get, the less you're allowed to punch people for fun. But it is true that you still only really need one thing in common. One of my closest buddies out here, I noticed that he goes to the gym, and I was looking for a new gym buddy because I was working out at Planet Shitness, and I didn't want to deal with it anymore. Dude, like, as if he was a girl. It was like I was hitting on him. I, smack him on the shoulder. I'm like, dude, where do you lift? And then that immediately just started a 20-minute long conversation. And then we start talking about our routines. Like, what's the pre-workout that you take? What's your gym fitness life look like? And then before you know it, I've got a membership for the next week. And I didn't wait too long to hit him up. Yo, let's lift, man. What time you going? And then I was consistent with it, consistent with like wanting to be around him because I wanted him to be my friend. I wanted to be friends with this guy. And then after you hang out a couple times, I'm starting to crack some like I'm starting to crack some personality jokes, and by personality jokes, it's like ones that may offend people. Sometimes you got to let these things fly in order to know whether or not it's the right dynamic for you. 2.5 years later, we're still lifting together. I'm about to go hit legs with him after this. When it comes to making friends with dudes, like you can treat them as if they were a girl, even though that's not how you get a girl. But dudes, they love that shit. Like, oh, really? You think so? They start flexing. Like, yeah, I've been trying to work out on this, dude. Like, oh yeah, I use this hairspray. It sounded like I'm giving relationship advice for gay dudes. Let me know if this works. Actually, let me know if this helps you pick up a dude. And then about a year ago, actually, someone did the same thing to me. I got picked up by a dude. Imagine that. We're like both sharing some mirror space, and he glances over at me a couple times. So I like take an earbud out, and like, we're waiting to finish each other's set. And he like finally comes over, and he was like, "Greg? No, man, sorry, you might have the wrong guy. Oh, bro, I thought you were my roommate from college. I got so excited. No, man, I'm from Michigan. Sorry." But instead of ending the conversation there, he had like a really nice tonality to him. He seemed like a cool guy, and he was huge. So like, all right, new gym buddy, here we go. So I started chatting him up, and then get the homie's number, and he's helping me train calisthenics because he's super good at it. Look at that. He was brave enough to say something to me, and I just decided to, take the next step and want to be his friend. Sometimes that's what it takes. You can't be afraid to be the brave person in that scenario. Not that there were any stakes, but there's some people, right, they're more timid than you and me, and they would love if you went over and asked them what they were doing, or if they wanted someone to keep them company. Other people get more nervous more than you think. I promise. So they need someone else to break them out of their shell, and that's another way that you can make a new friend instantaneously. You can kind of test the environment, test the ambiance, and see what's appropriate. Maybe if you don't really care how someone's going to perceive you, or if you think it'll fly, you can try a couple methods. One of them, you throw an unexpected out-of-pocket joke out there just to see how it lands, and if you get some chuckles out, you're in the right place. You're around the right people. They're going to be your friends. If it's a little bit more gentle of an ambiance, find a commonality and start geeking out about that. Just yap about it. And then if you're really wanting to become new homies with someone, invite them to do something with you that you think they would enjoy, something that you're passionate about, and you'd want to share it with them. When you do that, it makes them think like, oh, do they think I'm cool enough to go and check that out? It makes them feel good being invited to things like that. We all love being invited to house parties. It doesn't mean we like to go, but it's good to know that people are thinking of you. All of this was to say that you want to try to make new friends that emulate your childhood friends and emulate that relationship that you've had, right? It's not easy to do, but it's so worth it. So if you do have some of your childhood friends lingering around, or get the sense that maybe you're drifting apart from some of them, don't be afraid to be the one to reach back out. Unless they've betrayed you in some unforgivable way, these are the ones that you don't want to lose and you hang on tight to. Remember, these are the people that know more about us than we ever could, and we tell them things that our family could never know. It's like picking your first Pokemon at the beginning of the game, right? They speak to you in some sort of way, and then you go on to evolve with them, and you make new friends along the way, Pokemon with different moves, but you never let them go from your directory. They always stay in your back pocket. They're fighting every battle with you.